topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Eat and Critique Show with restaurant critics Steve-O and Sophia. Brought to you by one of Steve-O and Sophia's favorite Incontro Italian cuisine and steakhouse located on the Walk in Coral Springs. Now, sit back while award-winning restaurant critics Steve-O and Sophia share with you the good, the bad, and the ugly in South Florida dining.
Doing. How you doing tonight? We have Garrett Goodman, the owner, with us, and we have Dustin, the general manager, and we have Chef John in the back. Hi again. Live, and how you doing? How you doing, Garrett? How you doing, John? We're live with the owner, the chef, and the general manager at How You Doing here in Boynton Beach. It's 8240 State Road 7, Boynton Beach, with Steve-O and Sophia. Welcome to the Eat and Critique TV show.
You know what, I got to tell you that we've been doing this for 12 years, and we have done literally hundreds of restaurants. And I know one of the things people like about our show is we're very honest. We have probably done a couple hundred pizza places, and I'm sure our friend Vito's watching right now, but he doesn't have a pizza place anymore. This is the finest pizza restaurant. I mean, I had one of the pizzas I had was the pistachio with honey, and I got to tell you, I've traveled all over the United States and had pizza. That was the best pizza I've ever had. Let's go and introduce everybody. Let's start off with the owner, John Good. I'm John. You know what? Garrett Goodman. John Goodman's lost a lot of weight. That's okay. They don't hear us anyway.
No, I don't think anybody can hear.
No, because Rebel would tell us.
So that's how you started. It was during COVID.
It was definitely during COVID.
He started a restaurant during COVID.
Yes, we started during COVID out of my backyard. We were just giving away pizzas to friends and neighbors, anybody who would essentially come and eat one for free. I owned 2 little rock boxes, and I was just making them and essentially throwing them over my fence to anybody who was brave enough to come by to try to catch one.
I wish I lived
Yeah,
there.
exactly. And after a couple of days of giving them away, my friends and neighbors were like, "This is some of the best pizza I've ever had," and they were like, "You should just try to sell it." And I was, owned a business doing logistics and technology for car shipping, and I was like, I don't have time to do this. I'm trying to keep this business alive during COVID, and I didn't have the energy and the time to dedicate it towards making pizza. And eventually my wife was like, look, the feedback is there. Let's give it a shot. Let's see how we do. And I said, if we're going to do it, we need obviously to come up with a good company name.
Right.
So long story short, my wife came up with the name.
Your wife came up with the name.
Yeah,
That's a cute name, too.
Thank you. So my wife came up with the name How You Doing? And we created an Instagram page, and we were beginning just posting random celebrities eating pizza just to kind of get the page moving. And eventually we posted a menu on Wednesday for pre-sale for pizzas on holidays. So we were using Calendly, and you could book 15-minute time slots and order 3 pizzas for every 15 minutes. First week we sold 25 and 35 and 45, and we were getting to the point where we were selling out in 3-4 minutes, 100 pizzas a night. And then we started doing it on Monday. We would post a menu for pizzas on Wednesdays. And we were eventually selling, 150, 200 pizzas a week out of my backyard. And After a couple months of doing it, my wife and I kind of looked at each other and were like, I think we have something here. People keep coming back. And I sold my shares of my business back to my business partners. And we took the money and we rolled it into our first brick and mortar store. And,
What was your number one pizza?
out of my house?
Yeah.
Yeah, our number one pizza by nature was our cheese pie, our OG pizza. In the beginning, it was one variation, and then we kind of pivoted towards more of our differentiating pizza, which was our now OG pizza, which was our OG, which is mozzarella Havarti cheese with tomato sauce and basil, olive oil, Parmesan cheese. And that pizza has forever, to this day, been our number one most.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
So who came first? Chef Sean or Dustin?
So the first employee was Dustin. He's been with me now for 3 years and change. I love him to death.
A lot of knowledge of the pizza business.
Oh, for sure. It's incredible. And Sean, I actually know Sean longer. I mean, for over 20 years, almost at this point, close to it. Legitimately 20 years. I firmly believe Sean is one of the most talented chefs on the market. Like his food for me, like resonated in my core. It's like, don't get me wrong, I love fine dining, but I love that like rough chop, rustic food, which is kind of what you see on our menu here. And I think Sean just does a phenomenal job of like understanding flavors, putting dishes together, and making them beautiful.
Sean's the Michelangelo pizza.
He's a genius.
And this is actually an upscale. It's not a typical pizza place. The menu's incredible. The food's incredible. And it's not your typical pizza place that you come to. I think it's an upscale pizza.
Yeah, I mean, our slogan is it's just different. Like our pizza is just different than the traditional pies that you're going to see, almost anywhere. There's far and few between that do the things that we do for pizza. Like we try to be unreasonable with the things that we do to elevate and push our pizzas to like that next level. Where to try the Robin pie is like totally different than anything I've ever tasted from a flavor and a texture and the whole combination of all factors that make food.
I'll tell you something about Sean, because I was a chef in culinary school, so I noticed the plating, the presentation, everything. And he was, I mean to tell you this, Sean was one of the first chefs that actually stood there to make sure it was okay. And we usually, the chef comes up at the end, is everybody. Sean stood, and to me, that means he really does care about his food. And you don't find that very often.
He actually served us and explained everything that was part of the presentation that he brought to us. So do you want to tell us about the menu then?
So we'll go over some of the dishes that you guys want to start with.
Yes.
And then we can fast track and go over what you did. So the other night you guys started with the arugula salad, which is arugula, arugula, and shallot. Very nice light dish. The idea behind it was just something kind of refreshing, not heavy, but has different flavors. It's not just your basic, run-of-the-mill salad. And that's kind of been our idea across the whole menu, is to have some stuff that's familiar in a way, but unique as well to us.
So many different flavors in this salad, and you could taste everything.
And that's another thing we always strive for here, is to have a little bit of everything that's not flat level, but just bland, if you will.
The dressing, is it made in-house?
Yes, all dressings are made in-house. In fact, there's nothing you outsource at all.
The dressing makes the salad. That's what made that salad was so good.
We're a true scratch kitchen.
Yeah.
There's not one ingredient that you eat here that comes out of a jar. Like top to bottom, every single thing is made fresh here.
The reason why it tastes good. I love it. It really.
I want to say something because Dustin is the general manager. And people think we just come in to taste the food. There is so much more that we look at. One of the things is service. And it was so obvious how important service is. I mean, you never had to ask them for anything. You get my water, anything. But the people here love working.
I mean, we strive to do a good culture. You know, instead of being told like a boss way, trying to be real leaders and acting. That goes for the kitchen too. Yeah, no, it's important. It's the other half of the business, and we strive to do that. Our food speaks high volume, and service is just so. You know, it's get that recipe together. You can do good things.
Well, you guys all work well together and have fun together, and that's the most important part of being at work. Enjoy what you're doing.
I remember the first day we all got together. I said, look, I know how good this food is. In my opinion, it's great. I think that's why you guys are back here again having this conversation with us. And I said, if our customer service can outdo the quality of the food, then there's nobody who can do better than us. And that's just a fact. And I think being able to translate that from one restaurant to a second and do it with such seamless ease. Obviously there's hard work that goes into it. Plus, it is a culture. First and foremost, it's who we are. It's like our ethos as people in here is to do right by our customers no matter what. And that means we can make this. If we had to, we would make the same pizza 10,000 times before we serve one that was garbage.
Yeah. We go. It's like, it goes with the but like most importantly, we try to tell our servers just do the right thing. That little doing the right thing will pay for it. And nothing's perfect, but we really strive to just make it simple.
You guys aren't perfect.
Well,
I am
here.
I tell you, I'm looking about your menu. A lot of places you go, we got 30 different kinds of pizzas. I don't want to come in and have to think about. I called when I saw the menu. I said, "Wow, it's mean and mean. It's perfect." You've got roughly 5 or 6 different main pizzas.
Yes.
And it was such a pleasure when I saw that. Because I don't, maybe it's just me. I don't know, but to see 40 different kinds of pizzas.
Well, it's funny that you say that. I came to the place where it was like a Walmart of food.
Exactly.
It was crazy, And so when I met him, he was doing skin bowl on this, fresh, whole bowl on this. I was like, okay, I can get into this. And it's a nice, different.
Yeah, and also having
It's just,
shop. But having a smaller menu allows us to focus more
I
so.
know, yeah.
Especially since everything here is scratch. If you have 40 menu items on the menu, there's no way you can realistically, on our scale, of course, to make everything homemade and still treat it with care. So
I'm going to tell people because we kind of remind them, the economy still sucks. Prices are up. People don't realize even olive oil. Everything is up.
Getting to get olive oil right now. It's great.
And there's another piece. A lot of things you cannot get. Your prices are so reasonable. I mean, that was the second I looked at the prices. Look at this. So the prices are really good. So then we went to the beet salad, which she loves beets.
So yeah, we went from the arugula, one of our lighter salads, onto the beets, which is also another light salad. I knew it was going to give you a lot of food, so I wanted to start to get something lighter, more refreshing before we went into the heavier, warm appetizers, of course, pizza, which is filling. So the beet salad are roasted beets, which we roast and peel ourselves here, sectioned oranges, fresh avocados, shaved shallots, almonds, and then we make a sherry vinegar. Just very basic, just to kind of give it a little bit of acidity, a little olive oil on it, lots of fresh cracked pepper, and then a little goat fat, which is just feta cheese just made with goat milk instead. And it has a good balance. It's got the saltiness, it's got the sweetness of the orange, it's got the fat, feta, and it's just kind of a good well-rounded dish.
How'd you pick those two?
Honestly, just because they are a little more unique than our other two. Because we do like to have other salads that are not so for other customers that don't want to like be as adventurous, let's say. Right. So we still have some very good staples like a good Caesar, but of course our Caesar is still made the right way with anchovies, oil, egg. We don't have no mayonnaise in that or anything like that. So, but I wanted to kind of showcase some of the stuff we can do outside of it. You know, Caesar salad and chopped salad, which are both phenomenal as well. But these are also once again going back to they want to start you off with everything super heavy, but they know it's going to throw a lot of food into it. So we started
Again, those dishes right there are like the prime example of what our goal is, which is to have a food that everybody can understand what's in it, but find a way to like just kind of sidestep it just like a little bit, that we call it making it the how you done way.
yeah,
Which is what's important to us. It's our spin on that food item, and that's what makes our food unique, and that's what makes it special.
You know, it's fun. Garrett's using the word unique. This is really a unique restaurant. I mean, listen, there's hundreds of pizza places out there. I'm telling you, folks, I want you, because, you know, we never steer you wrong. I want people to come and try how you doing. And I promise you, you're going to be like me. The night that we left, we're driving home, and I'm thinking about what am I going to have next day. We never do that.
Yeah, I was ready to come back that day.
You know, crazy thing is, and you guys know, like the amount of people that come and try this food for the first time, there is a huge percentage of people that come back, if not the next day,
Oh,
guaranteed within that week. And basically, what happens is if you get them to try that first pie that's like comfortable to them, which is like cheese pizza or OG or the pepperoni. And then after they like understand what it is that we're serving to them, that's when they're willing to try that pistachio pizza or that hot hot. So they start, because what's happening is like they see things on our menu, like they don't know what some of it is. And like we have to kind of guide them, and our servers have to do a great job of educating them on certain things that are on those pizzas and getting them to that second pie where they trust us to try something that's like unique in their opinion, so far into left field. But in our world right now, it's become so normalized. When they taste it, they're like, okay, what's next?
I'm going to give him another compliment, especially since I screwed up his name. So, let me tell you something you did different. Is most pizza places have someone who can put cheese on it, who can make the dough. You hired a chef. He's not a pizza. He is a real, honest to good chef that's making pizza. And I think what you do, because we're going to talk about other things you have, but you're a chef. And you know, that's how we titled you the chef.
He's
You
a gourmet
unbelievable.
chef.
You were so talented. And we're used to going to pizza places and so, and putting cheese on it. This is not what this one does. So very smart on who you hired to do.
I mean, Sean brings a lot to the table for us.
Now he's going to ask you. I really screwed up.
From top to bottom, every one of us brings something to the table. We all have blind spots. Of course, 100%. You found me. But no, look, we all have blind spots, and I know there's things that I'm great at, I know things that I'm not great at. Every one of us has that, and when you bring that all together, and all of us sit down and we talk and we really like dig into it, that's where the magic happens.
What are you going to do? Because we're going to talk about your other infections. How do you duplicate these guys and yourself?
It starts with training. It starts with culture. It starts with having systems and processes and understanding, what is the how you go way. We started when it was just Dustin and I, and I'll tell you, I literally, and stand over your shoulder. They can watch you make every pizza for the longest time.
Yeah, when I first met him, I walked in the restaurant before we opened the first location. I said, "Why are you opening up a restaurant?"
I'm pretty sure those are like he would have needed more blood than the way he just said that.
I came from being in the kitchen. I was like, more of like a kitchen. And then, we were looking around. I was like, "Yeah, we can. I want to help you. I want to help you." It seems like you have some magic over here. So, you know, here we are.
Let's go to our next issue.
I think the next one we had was the wings.
Yes.
So our wings, those simple. We try to once again take it with extra step and start with a good wing.
He calls them simple.
Like try to keeping it simple is one of our things, but also once again focusing and taking the time on the dish is big for us. So 90% of restaurants will take wings, throw them in a fryer, put some questionable sauce on it, and call it a day. We try honestly. Where can we add a little extra love in those processes? And we started out, why don't we brine the wings, give them a good flavor before we even get to the cooking process. So when they come in, they're fresh, they are animal-free, they're hormone-free, so starting with a great product. Simple. Then they get brined 24 hours. Add some flavor, keep a lot of that moisture content in, maybe deep cook it. And then we take the time and lollipop the drumsticks. So, of course, that takes away from the flavor. Yeah, to an extent that it does affect, the mouthfeel and the texture and stuff. But also what it does show is that you're taking the time and care about each individual wing opposed to just chucking them in a fryer. And then after their lollipop, they get great deal, make yourself. There's some of the pieces like have that adjusted char to everything, and because that char adds flavor to things too. So that's another little step up to it. And then that's it.
I'm not a wings guy at all. When I had your wings, this I could do. I'm just not big. Your wings are entirely different. So, football season now. You can buy a ton of wings here. They are that good.
Yeah, look, we're at a 3-4 day process before we
pretty much from them entering the building. It's about 4 days.
I can believe it.
So,
First thing I do is taste out different days.
Nobody does. The reason why is I'm sorry. Like the things that we do are difficult, but exciting and challenging. But the juice is worth the squeeze at the end of all of it, and that's when you bite it. For a guy who doesn't like wings, and you taste it, you can just tell that what they're doing, what we're doing in here again. It's the same phrase. It's just different.
It is.
Than everything else you taste around. In every pizza place.
When the chef can take something, an item that someone doesn't like, and prepare it, and they love it, that's amazing.
Yeah, me with beets.
Yeah, me too.
With beets. Me with beets.
She loves beets. I can't stand it.
And the wings were pretty too. It's a lollipop.
Yeah, it's still the same thing for the wing sauce that we make.
yeah, even our
All
wing
the
sauce scratch. Wow. Actually, that takes a lot too. There's a lot of ingredients in that one, but at the end of the day, like I said, the squeeze opposed to taking some generic sauce that blue cheese or whatever the generic. We're trying to be once again, familiar. So it's not so outlandish. We stay familiar, but put our own twist on it, unique, and hopefully people understand that and love it.
The one thing about Sean, more that it's always impressed me. I don't know about you guys. When I cook at my house, I'm always reaching for like the dry spices that are like in my cabinet. What I always found was beautiful about Sean was always fresh, like fresh herbs, none of the dried stuff. It's always like true fresh oregano and dill, rosemary, all of those things that really make the dishes get that next step.
There's people who specialize in wings. They come close to hits. And they specialize in wings. That's amazing. What's next, Jeff?
So I believe next we have the mushroom chips.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was the next one up.
I told them when I came in, that's what I'm going to have tonight.
I can eat that.
I like mushrooms.
Yeah, if you love mushrooms, that's perfect. I also love mushrooms, probably one of my favorite foods, so it's up to me if mushrooms make it. But yeah, a lot of people don't agree with me on that, including my wife.
I like mushrooms to almost everything.
So the bruschetta must be very good too.
Yeah, that's one dish you didn't get to try. So.
That use the same toast.
It's actually used that same cellulose product that was toasted in the oven like we did. But circling back to the mushrooms.
What kind of mushrooms do you use?
So the mushrooms are Canadian mushrooms.
Okay.
And we, of course, slice them here and roast them off in the oven. We also we'll take a couple mushrooms and make a mushroom stock out of it, reduce it, make a bunch of fresh herbs like rosemary, thyme, parsley, a little bit of shallot as well in that, reduce, make a stock strain, and that gets reduced. And that becomes the base for the mushroom cream that you have.
That cream.
Oh,
It's unbelievable.
So yes, that's why I wanted to start you out with the lighter dishes because I knew that was coming. So.
I think that dish, I think that dish is gone in a nutshell. That dish to me, from all the years that I've eaten Sean's food, is like the one that like strikes me in my gut. That's like, this is Sean. Like, I think so. I could live wrong speak for yourself, but for me, I look at that dish and I'm like, this.
So the reason why I like Sean.
Red Sean is.
it's killer. Really long.
But once again, at its core, it's quite simple. It's just using its own.
Simple.
We're not adding a bunch of different canned spices. Those guys, it's just mushrooms, their stock, a little cream, some fresh shallot and herbs, and over some good bread.
Just like that.
At its core, you don't sometimes overthinking things are detrimental to this. And people start adding too much. So sometimes just a good product, keep it simple, then comes up with.
It's funny because I know, I believe I know pizza very well. Sean, who I think other food, I always look at Sean when he's like making other food, and I'm like, oh, this looks so easy. And that's like when I feel if I make pizza, I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm in my wheelhouse right now. All the while I'm like watching. What do you do though? Yeah.
Pizza's coming out.
Yeah.
I think the next dish we had was the meatballs.
Yeah.
That was another one that was amazing.
So once again, kind of the same, simple if you want, but once again, start with a very good product.
And the sauce. That doesn't have to look for it, the meatball. Your sauce was amazing.
Once again, very easy. Good to start with a good product. Very good tomatoes, the same tomatoes we use on chocolate pizza. So starting with a good stuff, a good tomato, good product. Don't overdo it with anything. Let the meatballs speak for themselves. It becomes a very good product. It's a good mix of beef, pork, and veal. So it has a little bit more the flavor profile you normally get from just obviously beef and pork, because that veal adds a little unique taste to it. And then a lot of fresh parsley in there, fresh garlic, some fresh pepperino, and cook them right. Get them to the table.
Very moist.
I hate the name drop, but I gotta do. There was a restaurant in Delray. The original owner sold it, so it's called Vic and Angelo's. They had, it was the best meatball I've ever had. And it was their steak, and people would come from all over. Your meatball beef is, that is, I mean, I never thought I'd ever taste a meatball as good as Vic and Angelo's, who's no longer around anymore. That's incredible.
I appreciate it.
You know, like we always talk about, I hate a meatball that when you bite into it or you taste the bread.
Yeah.
We went back and forth how many different variations.
Yeah, we must have tried
Dozens.
dozens, just trying to find that balance where it's not too dense, but you didn't want to take like it just rips, like so fluffy that it's not needed. Yeah. Then we just don't.
Prepare meatball right. Sometimes it's too hard on the outside, too soft on the inside, too hard on yours. Was perfect. And I was can't believe
And they melted in your mouth, literally.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
It's funny, like if you went into our spice rack, you would laugh because you would say
Yeah.
we're as much of an Asian restaurant
Yeah.
as we are an Italian restaurant. We use a lot of soy sauce in here, a lot of umami flavor, which is when you taste those meatballs, you kind of you're like, what is that flavor that I'm tasting on my tongue? Again, that's the how you go away, which is like taking us in that one little sidestep that's untraditional from what you would typically get almost anywhere, let alone an Italian place serving meatballs.
I never thought about using those ingredients in a meatball, actually.
Yeah, that's the thing is that a lot once a week. You don't want to recreate what everyone else is doing.
Right.
Keep it obviously familiar enough to where we're not reinventing the wheel, but in the same sense, just put our own little twist on it and add some flavors that people aren't used to. People don't realize that they do work together. And that's a lot of our menu is that. Just putting that little left turn at the end and it makes it unique. I went into the pizzas at that point.
so fun.
Sounds like a great meal. I'm ready.
You know, I was just thinking, when we go to a Mexican restaurant, we judge it by the salsa. If the salsa's good, the food's probably going to be good. Yours, the meatball, that's enough. And if you get the meatball, it just tells you how good the food is. So now we're going to go into the pizza. What are we doing?
I'm moving it
I'll
because
give a block in
the
the front.
sun, the sun was starting to block that.
Well, we started you off with our OG because that is our margarita. That is our, you want to call it like basic pie. So that kind of shows you, I wanted you to taste the original. And I can't take any credit for pizza because he's the mastermind behind that. I just make sure that he cooked it the way he wants.
You learn how to make pizza. Oh, well, you have to go into the dough because
Yes.
that's a little bit different than other
So it's a two-pronged question. So how did I learn to make pizza? I learned to make pizza through YouTube.
Was it your favorite though before you started?
So pizza has always been one of my favorite foods. Would I say it's my favorite? Probably not. I think for Asian and Thai, I think that's the reason why in our food we have so much of that umami profile. But so one of my buddies, who I consider one of my pizza mentors, he bought the rock box I illustrated about earlier in the show on a Kickstarter program on like Indiegogo. And he called me and said, you should buy one. I said, you know what? $600. You buy it first. If you like it, I'll buy it. So he invited my wife and I to go down to Miami. So we went down and he's living in an apartment. And I'm like, you're going to make pizza for your apartment? Like, it's like right on the patio. So I walk outside and he's got this little pizza oven and he's cooking vegetables and fish and chicken and steaks. And I'm like, this is incredible. I'm like fascinated by the fire and the heat. And then he goes, all right, let's make some pizza. So he makes his first pie and it comes out and I'm like looking at it, I'm like, I can't believe what I'm seeing in front of my face. Like, it's coming out of this little thing. It's on your patio.
Right.
And like the pizza is like was pretty good. So he was buying pizza dough from like anywhere that he could get it. And I kind of just like followed behind. So I bought the oven and I was buying dough from like any pizza place that would sell it to me. And eventually Steve at my pizza mentor was like, look, you got this thing, start making your own dough. So I like went passion project, just like went down the rabbit hole and I'm making dough like constantly. And like there was great days and terrible days, and great days and terrible days. Making a mess of my house, flowers everywhere. It's a nightmare. And I was like experimenting with 24-hour fermentation and 48-hour fermentation. And I was like, all right, I think we're in a good spot. And then when COVID came around, my buddy was like, look, he's like, you're home. It's time to make a sourdough starter. So I made a sourdough starter, and I made dough, tested new recipes, and the first day, he's like, try it, see the flavor for the first day. So I tasted this pizza, and I was like, wow, the flavor I got out of this pizza over one day was better than the flavor I got out of traditional white flour, regular yeasty pizza that I got from 2 days. And then we started pushing it even further. We went from 1 day to 3 days, 3 days to 4 days. And I just was like tweaking it and tweaking it and tweaking it. And eventually we came up with this recipe that I was like, wow, this is incredible. And that's what we used out of my house for 2 years. And then when we were getting ready to open up the brick and mortar store, you remember you and I were in the kitchen, all of a sudden, like the recipe that we were using out of my house wasn't translating to the recipe in the pizza oven at the store. And I looked at Dustin, I was like, we're screwed. I was like, we're never going to be able to open this place. This pizza doesn't work. And you remember, I was sleeping on the floor with test files, watching dough rise. It was crazy. My wife thought I was insane, but I was like, we have no choice. Little moving test files, watching dough rise hours and hours. It was like really got crazy. And eventually, we were bringing in flowers. We were shipping in flour from San Francisco, and like by the truckloads. And eventually, we came up with a new recipe that worked and translated. And we've been using that one ever since. So it's been
So no Brooklyn water, huh?
It's all nonsense.
You gotta be like, oh, it's the Brooklyn water. No, it's not.
It's all nonsense. Everything in cooking, at least in my the world that I know most, which is it's baking, it's pastry. Like that's
Right.
what it is, and it's a science. That's what it comes down to. The temperature, the time, the technique. Those are the things that make great dough, and that's like I stick firm to that. It's crazy, and that's really what it is. It's like you want to make pizza at your house, and you want to eat it for you and your family. Yeah, that could be hard, but for us to make that consistency every single time that you eat it has to be down to a science, because we want to make sure that you go to our store on Spanish River, you come here, or you go to our store. Doesn't matter where you go, that every single time you eat it, it's the exact same thing every which place.
Did Dustin sleep on the floor with you?
No, I'll say support.
It's gonna be okay.
That's like mom.
I just remember the first day Dustin came in. Dustin and I spent more time rearranging the store the first day that we were there than I did taking like 3 months to set it up.
I go in there and I'm scratching like, we didn't change it. This isn't gonna work.
Because I started this out of my house. Spin your feet and spin the video. Like, you can see on the walls. And those were the 2 pizza ovens. That was my house over there. That's my house with the tickets printed on the walls over there. That was the busiest day ever making pizza out of my house. Christmas Day, we made like 180 pizzas by myself. Out of my the boxes, stacked up all over. Sleep. Just remember at the end of it, like I literally remember, like I was in collapse. I was so physically tired that my wife and I looked at each other. I was like, if we could get through that, her and I had 3 little kids at the time, so like it was. I was like, if we could survive this between you and I said we could get through this. I think in our lives, and it's been.
Did the kids love the pizza?
Confident that my kids could survive on pizza and burgers for the rest of their lives, like legitimately, and it's fun like, to get them to start following how to do it. And that's like part of what made this process starting this company super enjoyable, because they were so involved in what we were doing that I got to teach them craft, trade, something that was special and unique.
Good dad.
I didn't come from a house where people cook. My parents didn't cook ever. My parents ate out 2-3 times a day, still to this day, every single day. So like to show them something that I learned from just like learn something you care about was something that I was able to show them that you can do it so long as you set your mind to it. It's totally possible.
Right.
In my opinion, it is. We're living the American dream right now. That's
We have about 5 minutes. I want to talk about the pistachio honey pizza and the cookie.
Oh my God.
So, it's actually the final piece you had. You had a couple more in there, but they all,
My favorite.
that was the very unique one. Garrett came up with that one first.
The honey wasn't overpowering, and it was
Surprise.
easy like protein on my pizza. I'll never get. This is my favorite pizza. In fact, your pizzas are going to spoil us. They really are. They're laughing.
I'll
What
be
do you
quick,
mean,
because I know
boy?
you only have a little bit of time and I want to get you through it. But
Why do
our
you
menu is even smaller. With pizza specials when we first started, the pistachio was kind of our first month of specials. We cycle in 3 new pizzas every month. And the first month I had that pizza on the menu, my father-in-law came and tried it and said, if you take this pizza off your menu, you're going to burn your store. So I said, you know what, I'm not willing to fight that fight. So we just
So do you remove the pizza?
So there's always 3 rotating pizzas. You got the charge, like the leaf was one of the
Yeah.
monthly specials. But next week, there's a pecan. And we got 3 more coming in.
Remember, father-in-law said you got to keep it on there.
Oh, no, no,
It's
it was the leaf, onion leaf pizza. Fun.
Fun.
Obviously,
I think that's good.
And then the gelato.
We gave you one of our house baked cookies, which we use that same starter that we started years ago. And that was put in the beginning of the cookie baking process. And once again, just making a pretty good attempt to so none of us are really true bakers, so he probably has the most experience now. So we set out to try to make it a good cookie.
I hated pastry and
Me
cookies.
too, yeah. I'm just each throwing things in a pan.
You got to have the depth. Really.
We were shooting for something once again a little unique, not just your normal chocolate chip cookie. Something that kind of defines us as it is a sourdough cookie. You start with set up like it's not the same cookie, but you can tell it's something local. And then we just top it with some gelato.
Is it normal? Is it? You're busy in here. Let's talk about allergies. Okay.
And the new location. On that, the new location when it's exactly open.
Hopefully we'll be open in about 3 weeks. Maybe 2. Always changing. Yeah, no, we're excited for our location and have a good season together. And, we're gonna put 310 East Palmetto. Boom.
What's that close to? Is it east of
It's Palmetto.
95? Or
It's east of Federal Highway, just before you would go over the bridge to the water.
On the south side.
It's in
That's a
the
good
it's in
location.
the true heart of downtown.
Right.
It's stores.
And you got all those beach goers over there. That's a good place.
It's incredible.
Lots of foot traffic.
I theater to rent. Like, oh my
My
God.
business partner owns the building.
Oh, yeah.
So we took a lot of time to convert that building into what it is. What's cool about that project is the bottom floor is restaurant, and the second floor is commissary space. So all of our dough, our cheese, our sauce, our dressings, everything gets made out of one location. And we use that and we distribute to all of our own stores. So that is one of the big things that's going to allow us to stay consistent and make sure that every slice from every pie that you eat is spot on from top to bottom. No matter
What are your hours?
This location is here for dinner, so it's Monday through Thursday, 4 to 8. And then Friday and Saturday, 11 to 9. And Sunday, 12.
Okay.
Open 7 days. Beach. And then the first restaurant, those hours, are they
11 to 8, Monday through Thursday, Friday and Saturday, 11 to 9, and Sunday, 12 to 8.
I'm telling you know what? People who work on Sunday, or college on Saturday, this is, no, you don't have your own delivery, but do you have the food one? Do you have,
Yes.
okay.
We do third-party delivery, and we do pick up, we do online. Yeah, we have options.
This is the greatest place to order for a football game. Oh, the show's almost.
I hope we didn't mess the beginning up with the.
I don't think we did.
Difficulties, but we wanted to thank our three for spending the time with us
Thank
and
you.
providing like probably one of the best meals we've had.
And they'll be able to find them on our website too. You can go to our website, eatingcritique.com. You can go watch this on iHeart, YouTube, Spotify. We're on all of them.
Subscribe to our YouTube too.
Yeah.
Subscribe. And we will see you next Monday, 6 p.m.
I'm coming back here.
Okay.
You know,
You've never seen me act like this.
You know, the patio is really good with like a cup of coffee or a cup of tea in the morning. I always promote that. Like I do every morning.
You've been listening to the Eatin' Critique Show with your hosts, award-winning restaurant critics, Steve-O and Sophia, brought to you by Incontro Italian Cuisine and Steakhouse, located in Coral Springs on the Walk. Be sure to join us again next week as Steve-O and Sophia interview top local restaurant owners and chefs. Steve-O and Sophia are known for their pure honesty when it comes to reviewing local restaurants. See you next week.